Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello, great people. Welcome back to Global Happenings. Today, we're so excited to have you again. The Southeast have been mourning ever since this administration started releasing appointment list. It seems as if it's really or it has not really been in their favor. And latest is the NAS inauguration. Don't forget that Godswill Akpabio was given the position of Senate President via an election. And during that period also, a lot of Southeasterners expressed interest in it. But unfortunately, they were not availed the opportunity of leading the Senate come leading the 10th Senate. And one of Southeast former ministers have decided to speak out concerning it. And for him, it is not good for the Southeast. Now, hear what he said, talking about Chidoka, who was a former minister of aviation. That's Osita Chidoka. Hear what he had to say after the NAS inauguration. He says, NAS inauguration again. The Southeast is not heading any executive, legislative, judicial, or party leadership positions in Nigeria. It triggered a lot of reactions from Southeasterners, really. Some people believe that, hey, that this is just political move, that it doesn't have anything to do with them. But however, we're going to be discussing that extensively with my colleague who is in the house with me. But before we do that, let's also look at what Dave Umahi, the former governor of Ebonyi State, who is now a senator representing Ebonyi State, said about the emergence of the Senate president. This is what he said. He said that the all ever evolving Congress gathering pioneer have met, and our chief lead representative Uzodinma likewise organized a gathering with every one of the Southeast legislatures, and every one of the Southeast legislatures concurred that we just needed the administration seat at a point, and that we need not bother with the Senate administration. Also, the family is with the Akpabio-Boro ticket, and furthermore, the previous legislative head of Waterways State, Nyesom Wike, is working for this ticket for the public interest. So we are drifting to triumph. However, let me say there is no victor, there is no vanquish. We are individuals from a similar family. He said that all the senators had agreed that at a point they will need the presidential position, but for now they're not interested in Senate leadership, and which means that there's a contrast. Some of the top politicians believe that they have been shifted out. That's from the Southeast, shifted out. But while for Dave Umahi, he's enjoying the whole show. What do you have to say about this divide amongst the Southeast politicians?
It's just pure selfishness.
Okay.
Let's take a retrospect. How during the campaign periods, the build up to the campaign till now. You'll agree with me that David Umahi wanted to contest for the position of the presidency.
Exactly.
They didn't give him a ticket.
Okay.
He was angry. He felt that the Southeast had been marginalized. But after a while, he realized just maybe it's not right. He said to pinch tent with whoever gets the ticket between Lawan and Tinubu. Of course, Tinubu got the ticket, became the president. They're still contesting it at the tribunal. Now, if you can also recollect, Hope Uzodinma also believes, Dave Umahi, Soludo, Charles Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, and now Ebonyi State senator, who was the former governor of Ebonyi State, all of them had this belief that they deserve the presidency from Igbo extraction. So, having seen the offer that Peter Obi got, that they feel if Peter Obi gets the presidency, that shuts their political door.
Exactly.
On that ground of being the president.
Yeah.
So now, if Peter Obi doesn't get it, that means we still have hope. Let's pinch to Siwaju.
Okay.
Allow him to run through whatever tenure he has. They will present that issue of presidency. But he believes that if they give the Senate seats to Southeast, they may not have concrete ground to come and say, look, we have been marginalized. Because if you're going to go on that ground of you're being marginalized, didn't you get Senate presidency, which is the third position in the country? So now there's nothing for Southeast. So they can have that concrete ground to go when the dispensation I said, now we deserve presidency.
So what you mean there is that this is a strategy by the top politicians.
Strictly strategy. It has nothing to do with the fact that they love Igbo so much.
But for me, I think they are shooting themselves in the neck, considering the fact that the next 8 years will be given to the Northerners. The Northerners will be the one that will have to enjoy the next 8 years. Abandonment Tinubu is going to be running for these 8 years. And the next 8 years, the Northerners will be having the opportunity. Do you think that the Northerners, in the name of trying to, please the Southeast, will relinquish their own turn to the Southeasterners?
I don't even think so. See, I feel that when you have opportunity in life, use it. A bird at hand, they says what? I used to say I coined my own to have 1 billion in the bush, because the likelihood of you getting that same bird again is very slim.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've never had this level of euphoria for a Southeasterner coming from Peter Obi. I would have expected them all to pitch their tent with Peter Obi. You may not even have it like this. Peter Obi had so much gathering from south, west, north, south, such that you could say that this is organic love.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have such. And I don't see that after these 8 years, it's going back to the north.
Sure.
And you don't even go there. However, when you play the politics, it should be south. South should divide it within themselves, whether it's southwest or south or southeast. But when it comes to the north, allow us to do our thing. See, we have had this unwritten agreement, a little to the south, a little to the north. So this is not the south. However you want to play it, it's a business. But I feel, like you rightly say, it's a case of, since if it's not me, let it go to another person.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not going to be the president of Nigeria as an Igbo person making history, then any other person can take it, but not an Igbo person. That's how I see it here. And but Peter Obi has still not given up yet. Mm-hmm. If you watch it very well, if he's still going to court, it's very optimistic that he's going to get back his mandate via the court. And he believes he's working towards it. So he's not bothered by whatever that's going on. And technically, too, if eventually Peter Obi gets back his mandate, that Senate seat may become a bit unrealistic, because a Southeasterner cannot be a president and a Southeasterner become the Senate president. Although we've seen it in the dispensation of Buhari.
Of course.
Where it all went to the north. So
yes,
nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. But then I'm just wondering how easy it would be for Peter Obi to be shifted out, now that the president himself has come out boldly to say that any court order that would jeopardize the chances of democracy, anything that would thwart democracy, will not be respected. Do you think that if appeal court hand over victory to Peter Obi, that the president will shift grounds and allow him to come in?
I don't see that at all. Don't forget that Asiwaju here has been saying this semi-local. He has been planning this thing from God knows where, and he has now entered. He want to unseat who?
How?
Him. In fact, anyhow we want to do it. But you see this city, Dimity gone. I'm not leaving. It is a case of I die here. So, but I don't know how it's going to play out because that's an executive arm, there's a judiciary arm, but I have this gut feeling, I can't shake it out, that all this whole thing will finally play out to the Supreme Court, where that is where the verdicts will come in. We've seen the Supreme Court verdicts, severally technicalities involved, so let's just see, probably something different will happen that's away from history.
All right, thank you so much. That's where we're going to wrap it up. What do you think about the contrast in the opinion of top politicians in the Southeast? Some will say we are heavily cheated. Others will say, well, we are comfortable, especially those who are now enjoying the current administration. Let's talk in our